All right, everybody. So welcome to this week's coaching clinic. And this topic is it's really close to my heart. And if you've lost someone in your life, I am sure that it will give you a lot of insight and a lot of direction. Death as the ultimate alignment is what we're talking about here today. And more importantly, for us that are still here living, how do we align? How do we get into alignment without having to die? Because dying is quite a smart way to get into alignment. Ultimately, what I've seen through this topic is that we are all love and that we go back to our eternal nature. And the reason I say that with such confidence is because when my fiance Francesco suddenly died in December 2020, I was overcome by the greatest feeling of love I have ever experienced in my life. And it went on and carried me through for about 6 to 8 weeks. It was a feeling that is indescribable. It was a feeling really that I couldn't have expected. And as I have taken a lot of time to reflect on what that meant for me, what that was for me, it's just become more and more apparent that it was like a spiritual protection, because it's what we go back to and it's who we are and it's how we feel when we are in pure alignment, pure love. So I say this with confidence that death is a form of alignment, and the feeling of love that we go back to and fall into, and that's available for those left behind, is huge. I then was fortunate enough to be masterminding with my very close friend and colleague, Dominic Scafidi, and Dominic introduced me to the teachings of Abraham Hicks. And Abraham Hicks was actually talking about death as a form of alignment. So you can imagine my surprise or giddiness to see such an authoritative figure in our world, confirming what I had come to know through my experience, through my personal experience. So today we're really looking at that a little more deeply. I know it might feel a bit out there for some of you, and you know, I don't want to be insensitive to anyone's experience of death and what you're going through in the grieving process. I want what I share to give you a possibility of hope, a fresh perspective. And I'm always sharing, remember, from an embodied experience. I try my best not to share from what I learn intellectually. I try to share from what I see through my own experience in life, through insights and through feelings and through experience. So I really want this to be helpful for you today. As always, I'll take your questions. We can do some coaching. We're going to do a guided visualization. And just to begin with now, just come back into your seat and just bring yourself into alignment. So how do we align? Well, there's lots of ways to align, but let me share a very simple, easy one that you might just underestimate in your life right now. Just using the breath, all right? Just coming back to this moment. We can fall back in love with life and into alignment. So close your eyes and join me. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose or the mouth. Feel your body sinking into the chair. Let your shoulders release down. Let yourself be here now. If you have extra layers, you might start to feel to want to take them off. Or if you have anything that's feeling heavy around you, just let yourself loosen. Take the shoes, Take the heavy earrings off if that's what's going on. Take the head or the hat off, whatever's feeling heavy, just lift it now. Keeping all of our lines muted, we can go into our gentle visualization here. And in this visualization today, if you do have a loved one that you've been yearning to reconnect with, feel free to call on them during this part. If you have a guide or a spiritual teacher or a connection or a figure that you deeply resonate with, feel free to call on them during this part as we go into a form of aligning with the divine so we can all feel fine. See roots coming from your feet, down through the ground, down into the underground, right down to a rock at the bottom of the earth. And wrap those roots around that rock. Take a few deep breaths with your eyes closed now and feel your belly rising up in through the nose and out through the nose. Exhaling a little bit longer each time. This slows down the busy mind. In through the nose and out a little bit longer this time. And one more time, in through the nose and out through the nose a little bit longer. As we slow down, we begin to align. Let the breath take you home. Let yourself be here now. Those roots are wrapped around that rock. And your breathing is steady. See golden light coming from the rock, up through the rock, through the underground, through the ground, through the floorboards and into your feet. And like a beautiful spiral, I want you to see that spiraling golden energy going up through the feet and the ankles, and the legs and the thighs, and into the pelvis and into the middle of the body, and up through the body, all the way up, spiraling up to the throat, and on up through the face. Let it go on up this spiral to about 3 or 4 inches above the head. So you're grounded in this light. This healing energy spiraling through you. See it now coming down through the head, through the hair, down into the back of the neck, down through the spine. See that spiral spiraling down through the spine, all the way to the tailbone, all the way down through the left leg and through the right leg. Preparing to align. I want you to consciously imagine that you're lifting lifting up. So you might do that physically with your body, or you might just imagine yourself doing it. Certainly do it with your eyes. Lift your eyes up towards the top of your head. You're lifting up. One of the ways that we can reach our loved ones is to begin to lift up towards them. And consciously say to yourself, lifting. Now I want you to see a gorgeous golden bubble of light expanding. So it's coming from really outside of your shoulders. It's almost like a huge golden aura. See it expanding like a bubble to engage and enclose your current room, your entire house or building, your city, your country, and now the world, expanding. Feel that expansion towards the oneness that is the light and the energy of health and healing and well-being. Just this little exercise alone is sending healing waves through the world. So you've been breathing and you've been lifting and you've been expanding. And now I want you to surrender all thoughts of doubt and lack of faith. And that's just a conscious way of saying internally, I surrender. Let your defenses down. Let your doubts down. Imagine them falling away. Send them down through the soles of the feet into the earth. And now very gently, you're going to shift gears. So you can say to yourself, shifting. And I want you to feel a kind of almost like an elevator or a lift going up the side of your body and shifting up, 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 up until you feel you have shifted into alignment. When you reach the top, call on your loved one or your spiritual figure or guide and spend a few minutes now in conversation or in feeling with them. I'll let you know when it's time to move on. worry if nothing is occurring for you. Just notice the feeling you're in. And if you want confirmation of your loved one's presence, ask them for a very precise sign that you will look out for or receive in the next hours or days. You can be as precise as, please send me a rainbow. You can be as precise as, let me hear a song that I used to know you by. Invite them to be loud and clear with you, and be open to seeing and receiving the signs. Coming back now to the coaching clinic. Consciously say to yourself, shifting back to body. And imagine that feeling, or that elevator going down now, down, down, down. You're coming out of the connection with them, and you're coming down into this body, always staying in the alignment of love. Feel yourself shifting back down to here and now. Move your fingers, move your toes. See roots coming from your feet, down through the ground, down into the underground, and right down to a rock at the bottom of the earth, and wrap those roots around that rock. Feel yourself coming into the space. If there's anything you want to write down, take a moment to do so now. For some of you, that will just have been a feeling rather than a conversation. That's okay too. And coming back into the room now. Drink some water. Feel yourself here. It's not that you are coming out of alignment. It's that you're merging back into here and now, in this body, in this experience. That particular visualization is a portal that you can follow, that you can enter a vortex for reaching that higher vibration of love, because our loved ones are in that higher vibration of love. And so the busier and more erratic and more out of love that we are, the further away they seem. It's not that they're not with us in those moments. It's that the connection just isn't as strong. Our minds are going too busy and too fast. And for some of us, our minds have been going so busy and so fast that we have forgotten to ask for the support of our loved ones, to ask for the help. Maybe we haven't even realized we could do that. The reality is you can do that in every moment. The beauty of death is that now there is access to loved ones who are continually interested in your well-being, who will go out of their way to ensure you're not doing everything alone, who take pleasure in supporting and aiding you on your journey. Everywhere I go, I ask Francesco, bless the situation. Babe, sort me out with this. Show me what to do about that. Give me direction around this. Help me see this more clearly. Get me the right flights. Find me the right house. Send me the right type of client. Every single intention is set with my loved one in mind for help. He is not unique. You have someone, otherwise you wouldn't be on this call. You have someone who's waiting to hear from you, waiting for your request. I was with my beautiful teacher last week in the hills and the mountains, and talk about falling into alignment. I mean, we just did yoga every day and went for walks in the hills of Umbria, and we cooked and we lit the fire and we talked. And at some point we talked about how our loved ones are able to take our burden and provide support. And she's been practicing that in her own life since she lost her dearly beloved 4 years ago. She's now practicing that. And she's messaging me, telling me, oh my God, everything's getting clearer and easier. He's helping me. He's showing me, he's giving it to me. So please don't think that Francesco is the only one who is, in alignment and ready to help. You have loved ones who are available. You just may not have considered the possibility that their death is the ultimate alignment for you to experience. What alignment feels like is a very personal thing. For me, it often feels peaceful and relaxed, and things fall into flow. Some of you may have seen my little story on Facebook about waking up last week and wanting a ruby heart. And I go into a little town in northern Italy known for jewelry. And just before I'm leaving the town, I follow the impulse to enter a store, and there's my little ruby heart waiting for me. That's a form of being in alignment. You have an idea and they're manifesting really quickly. It's coming forward easily. So it's a personal thing. How you get into alignment will be based on what feels good for you. Your wisdom will guide you. Try this, do that, go there. What about this? Our wisdom will speak to us as our loved ones will speak to us if you're asking. And we are then guided to what best moves us to alignment. I personally am a fan of an afternoon nap. I was almost a few minutes late there today because I literally just fell asleep. Afternoon, okay, not going to feel guilty about that. Just going to let myself go into that. And the mind quietens down as we let ourselves get refreshed. That's a form of aligning. But how often in this world we're told that we're lazy, that we're crazy, that we're, and Charlene, I'll come to you now, sweetheart, that we're not doing what we should be doing. And yet all the things that help us align tend to be gentle, is what I notice, and enjoyable. Let's not make alignment something we can only get through death. It pleases me to know that that's what we go back to. It pleases me to know that we go home to our true nature, love and alignment. And that we're then able to provide those feelings to those left behind. But as you spend your days finding alignment, you get to be here on this earth enjoying the fruits of this earth and feeling that well-being and alignment. Charlene, I'd love to take your question. So you want to come on, sweetheart?
I'm right here. Can you hear me? Can you
I
hear
can
me?
see you, I can't hear you.
Oh,
No
how about now?
volume. Can you go a bit louder?
Yeah, but 1 second. Can you hear that?
Just about. Is it me or is it you?
I don't know. I'm just gonna plug in my.
I can hear you now. If you just you know how to use your voice. So
Yeah,
I'll
I'm just
get you
gonna.
to speak up. Oh,
I'm just
Lillian
gonna.
can hear. Okay, so it must be my side. All right, you know what I'm going to do? If everybody could stay here, I'm going to come back in. Okay, I'm going to come out and go
Can you hear
back
me
in.
now?
Yes, can you bear with me one moment,
Yeah.
Charlene? I'm going to go out and come back in. It's a problem
Sure.
my side.
Okay.
Stay where you all are, if you can. If I lose any of you, I'll come back. I'll restart the Zoom. Here we go. Assign a new. Okay. Okay, Charlene, try now. Ask me your question or share your comment.
You can hear me, yeah?
It's a bit better, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. I had a comment. when you were talking about not waiting for death for alignment, it really struck me because it's specifically what I have been contemplating today and yesterday. And I'm really grateful for this coaching clinic to be a support for me when I really need it. So thank you.
Mhm. You're welcome.
I am really struck with the truth that success and the things that I desire is not a future event.
Mhm.
It's 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 right here and right now. And I think I feel a bit tearful because I think I just feel a bit overwhelmed, but in a good way,
Mhm.
because it just means that all the striving and what I would call responsibility in terms of, face forward, do the work, do the things, none of that is necessary. I just get to relax and just enjoy what is here for me right now. And I went for a walk and I was listening to music earlier, and I'm even listening to music differently. Um, I can just I can just feel so much abundance that the things I used to worry about, I don't worry about them anymore. And it's like you can replace the 9 to 5 rat race with the spirituality rat race of
Mhm.
constantly trying to refine yourself in order to get the stuff, in order to be aligned. And I just stopped. I stopped doing that because I don't need to pursue even alignment as if it's some future event. It's
Yes.
right here and it's right now. And it's so restful and it's so easy. I was a bit distrustful of it at first because I'm so used to working hard for something. And I just can't stop leaking salty water from my face. And just in complete joy. Um, it feels like I'm just kind of in touch with, is that the equivalent of being at the beach, a really beautiful tropical holiday,
Mhm.
and just complete relaxation? And it makes no sense to my logical mind, but that's just where I'm at. And so before I joined your clinic, I was on Clubhouse doing my Clubhouse room. So that's why I was a bit late, forgive me, but I really needed to be held just in this space. So I'm really thankful.
You're so welcome. It sounds like we're all on the journey of realizing it can be graceful, it can be easy. It comes with feelings of relief instead of feelings of striving. And I hear you in that feeling of relief. So just enjoy it. Don't intellectualize it. It's not coming from the mind. That's why it doesn't make logical sense. Just enjoy it because the feeling, and I share this with everybody, the feeling is really the indicator for where you are, where you're operating from. Our feeling is our guide, letting us know at home, moving away from home, at home, moving away from home. And sometimes we can be so accustomed to living away from home, feelings of negativity, feelings of stress, feelings of striving, feelings of worry, that when we get a taste of feeling at home, it feels foreign. But we want to make that, we want to remember that's the default setting. The default setting is feelings of well-being and relief. We came into this world well. We find feelings of well-being before we started to learn what everything else was. Thank you, Charlene. That's so kind. Thank you for sharing, sweetheart. Anybody else have a question or a comment or want to come on? Lillian, I think you sent a comment, but I'm afraid I lost it because I went out and came back in.
Yeah, I just agreed with what you said about the afternoon naps. And I just commented that I often have an afternoon nap, and I had one before this call. And either that or doing a meditation, because I do 2 meditations a day. And one is in the afternoon, and I find that helps to realign as well.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you. You know, everybody can find their own way. I'm giving examples here today, but for you, alignment, you know, it'll shift and change depending where you're at. You know, sometimes in my life, the way that I have found alignment was partying. Like I remember a couple of occasions, and one was about 9 months after Francesco died, and I had just moved out of his family's place, and I came back to a Stoonie, and all I wanted to do was socialize and party and drink wine and see friends. I described it as coming back to life, and it was a form of alignment. And then at some point, I didn't need it as much anymore. I noticed myself, you know, coming into, alignment now feels like having cozy nights at home with the fire on, and alignment now feels like inviting people to my house for dinner rather than going out to the restaurant. So it shifts and changes according to the moment. And the key really, everyone, is not to judge it. The world will judge you upside down for how you find your alignment. But trust me, spirit is not judging you for how you get there. Death is a form of alignment, the ultimate alignment, according to Abraham Hicks. You can check out some of their videos if you're interested to hear their take on it. The piece that I resonate most with is the piece that I can fully speak to, which is the feeling of love that we go back to. You know, that initial finding of Francesco dead, followed by everything that had to happen to get me through that, was embodied with love, embodied with feelings of love. And so I didn't orchestrate that. I didn't generate that. It made no logical sense because it was not coming from my intellect. And that feeling of love, that feeling of alignment isn't only where our loved ones are hanging. It's who we are at our core. It's what we are at our core. And my goodness, the way you go about life when you're in that feeling of love, in that feeling of alignment, is so much better. It is so much nicer. Decisions get made easily. Things that need done get taken care of without a gun to your head. Choices about how you treat or speak to your body are gentle. It's just like you just have access to this incredible knowing. And our loved ones are there when we are in that feeling or not, when we need help with getting into alignment, or when we're looking for help with something in particular. That's why I said during one of the visualization today, ask for a specific sign. It's funny, one of my clients today sent me a beautiful image of a flower, and she said, you know, I feel the nudge to send you this, and I think it's Francesco nudging me to send it to you, so I'm going to send it. And she didn't know that on my side, I have been trying to decide about something. And she sent me that flower today, and I said to her, oh, what a beautiful flower, thank you. Which flower is it? And then she said to me, it's a pink rose. And of course, a rose is the symbol that he has always given me, always, throughout. It has been a rose. So I knew it was him, and I knew it was him confirming my decision. And she wasn't to know that. What she did was she followed the nudge, right? We're always getting these nudges, but are we following them? Like Charlene said earlier, sometimes we come into this without trust, but incrementally we build that trust. And you being in alignment is the greatest gift you could give this world. Because being in alignment is a feeling of well-being. It's a feeling of trust. It's a feeling of relief. It's a feeling of enjoyment. It's a feeling of quiet and peace. Not, at least in my experience, not excessive excitement and then bam, back down the other side of the Richter scale to excessive sadness. No, it's contained in a beautiful feeling that lets us know we're home. And getting there, or being there rather, because it's not about getting there, being there is available to us moment by moment. We can call on our loved ones to help us with that. And or we can simply be listening for wisdom's guidance and doing what feels right moment to moment. Like Lillian said, she too takes the nap and it helps, you know? So I hope this is helpful. If there's a question or a comment or a yes, but please, like, now's the time to come on before we begin to close. If there's anything you want to share about death as the ultimate alignment, feel free to come on.
Hello. Hi, this is Maria.
Hi, Maria. Good to hear
Hi.
from you.
Yeah, just a quick comment. I just want to say I lost my son, my 23-year-old son, 2 years ago today. So
Wow.
it's just been such a treat to connect with you, because usually I'm at work on a Tuesday, but I always have this day off, the 15th of March off. So it's just been such a treat. And I just feel so at peace and so optimistic, and yeah, all the good stuff. So I just wanted to say thank you. It's made my day just connecting with you.
Well, you're so welcome, and I'm glad you followed your wisdom to be here, or his nudge to be here.
Yeah,
Maria, how did you find out about it?
I've not tried to connect with him in that way before, like you said, you know, I've never done that. So it felt good.
Yeah, good. Well, he's waiting, you know, he's right there. So take some time each moment or each day, and just receive his help and his love. Thank you for being here, Maria, and sharing your story.
Thank you.
Lots of love, honey. Lots of love.
Love to you too.
It just warms my heart when I hear people realizing the truth, you know. So all of you that are here, you know, any insights you get, any stories that you want to share, everything is welcome. Everything is welcome, and this space is here to support that. Anybody have a question, or I'm not sure. I'm not sensing there's a lot more to say. I mean, I have story after story after story of receiving Francesco's alignment and support, and those can go on a bit. But I know that most of you find them hopeful. You can find a lot of my stories of the last 12 to 15 months over on the blog, where I've literally written for a year about what I've seen about his death and how he has shown up miraculously. And you can find that on gracefulcoaching.net/grace notes on love and loss. Sue, great to have you here. Come on, sweetheart.
I feel quite nervous.
That's all right.
Oh gosh, wow. I lost my mum actually just about 7 weeks ago. Now, Mum and I had a really complicated relationship, and it never was, we never got to where I really wanted it to be when she died. But since she died, I've had this sort of weird sort of portal opening is the only way I can describe it. And I have just downloaded stuff in a way that I've never sort of done it. I've sort of experienced it before. And I've sensed Mum, but it's not been kind of full on. But this weekend, I had what you experienced right at the beginning of your relationship in the different dimension with Francesco. An overwhelming feeling of love in a way that I have never ever experienced it before. Our family was disjointed, disconnected. Love was always something that we had to do. It was always about performance. But what I got downloaded this weekend was about love being an energy. And I think part of my nervousness about talking about this is that it's so new that I feel weird. It's about the only way I could describe it. I kind of, I don't quite know, well, it's nothing for me to do with it, but it feels a very odd experience. And I think it's about, at the moment, it's just sort of getting, I don't know, getting used to it or just being with it at the moment. It just is weird is the word that comes to mind. But I found this really helpful because it just has helped me, I guess, process some of the feelings that I've been experiencing, because they kind of were so not within my parameters of experience of life. I've never experienced it. And my dad, for the first time in my whole life, said to me that he loved me this weekend. He's never said that to me before. But I think it was because it was that energy that I was going through. I just wanted to say thank you.
You're so welcome, Sue. So welcome. Thank you for sharing your story so generously and so openly. You know, I just want to pick up there that it may feel outside of your parameters, but just focus on the fact that you have experienced that feeling of love, however briefly, however short, however outside your parameters that might have felt, however beyond the family dynamic that might have been. Like, forget everything we've learned about death and just live in that gorgeous gratitude that you experienced that love, because that is your evidence. You know, I think we all want evidence. That is beautiful evidence.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And what I love about what Sue shared as well is, you know, this is how we respond, everybody, okay? This is how we respond. We sense someone in a feeling of well-being or love, and guess what? Even if we've spent a lifetime avoiding it, we naturally are lifted up into the same feeling because who we are at our core. So Sue's example is fantastic of her father, after X number of years, finally saying that he loved her. And there she is in a feeling of love, a feeling of well-being, a feeling of that deep connection. That is what we really are. That should be hopeful to many of you that are in the service industry of healing or teaching or coaching, because many people ask me, how do I get clients? How do I get more clients? How do I have X, Y, Z? And when I say to them, they're drawn to your well-being, they don't always trust me on that. But see, people are drawn to the feeling you're living in. And if you're living in well-being and you're living in love and you're living in enjoyment and you're living in relief and you're living in ease, and we're not always living there, but we do, we're showing up, finding our way. People are drawn to that because they recognize themselves in you and they want more of it. They want to experience more of that. And although it's a separate example, it's the same thing. Sue's in a feeling of love and her father finally recognizes and comes forth, reminding her of the truth with his own words that he loves her. It's not always an easy thing to say, especially for men in our culture in that generation as well, you know? So what a gift. What an absolute gift. I'm really glad to hear that things are happening outside of your parameters. That goes for everybody, because that's a real sign that you're getting beyond the intellect. That's a real sign that you're moving beyond, you're lifting out of the usual conditioned thinking and what you've learned to be true. Because what you've learned to be true was a lie for the most part. What you experience as truth is different. Thank you, Lynn. I'm glad you're able to be here today. So I'll be back with you all next week. We'll have another topic. If there's a topic close to your heart that you would like to put forth to me, feel free to email me on gracefulcoaching@gmail.com. If there's something you want to hear me speak about that would really resonate with you, you can do that. If you'd like to work with me personally, I have two options at the moment. Currently, you can do one-to-one sessions with me. You can even do a one-off one-to-one session with me. If you would like to just spend some time together going deeper on whatever it is that you'd like support with, that could be around alignment, it could be around your business, it could be around your connecting with your loved one. You're welcome to do that. At the moment, I'm currently offering that option. And you can email gracefulcoaching@gmail.com to get that. If you're feeling a bit like you need to break out of your comfort zone, that you've been closed in too long and life looks pretty small to you, you're also welcome to join me in Mexico. I will be in Mexico in April, and I will be hosting a small number of clients on retreat. So if you would like to come and join me in Mexico, you're welcome to do that. Part of that trip for me personally is that nudge from wisdom to do something kind of scary. Because after a couple of years being closed in, and after the death of Francesco, I had many, many reasons not to go out into the world, not to push myself beyond my uncomfortable comfort zone. And so part of this trip, and part of what I think this trip is about for you, should you decide to be there, is about just letting ourselves get out of that small rut that we've become so accustomed to. And so I can't think of anything more expansive and more kind of scary but exciting through my own wisdom's push than going to a completely new territory, a whole new country, a completely different world. And whilst I'm invited there to enjoy, I want to also see what that brings, and open up the opportunity for any of you that would like to do that deeper work, that spiritual aligning, and that career or business direction in the form of being in person in Mexico. So meet me in Mexico. If that speaks to you, get in touch, gracefulcoaching@gmail.com. We'll have a conversation and see where life is taking you. All right, everybody, thanks for being here today. Lots of love. Ciao.